Hey everyone, welcome to my weekly review for the first week of August 2026. Um, Today was a decent, or this week was a decent week. Um, we had quite a few opportunities, I would say. I definitely got better throughout the week, but my biggest error this week was um, struggling to take the trades. Which I feel like it was a little different than just hesitation. That was definitely part of it, which is something that I've been working on. Um, but it was more just a mindset of scarcity, which I'm not sure why I had, but I definitely approached this week with that mindset. Um, and as you could see, for most days, I want to say two of the trades here were hotkey errors. This should have been a like 4 cent green day, super tiny green day. Um, but yeah, on these days, I'll show you once we get into the trades. But I basically would take one trade on a super nice stock, whether it's like the first micro pullback, second micro pullback, or first bull flag. And then I would sit through the other, clean micro pullbacks that meet my entry criteria or the clean bull flags that meet my entry criteria and meet the criteria and would have provided extremely good expected value. And I just sat through them for some reason. So definitely need to work on that kind of psychological part. Um, I think a big part of it was that I just wanted to have a green week. I haven't had a green week on this account. Um, so I just wanted to have a green week. And, you know, I got that, but it came at a cost of a little bit of hesitation. So next week, I definitely want to improve and, not hesitate and take more trades, um, especially more trades on the same stock. Whenever it's a stock that meets criteria, I want to get a little more aggressive. Not just like jump in with huge share size, but, take the first micro pullback, take the second micro pullback, take the first bull flag, the second bull flag, rather than just taking one of those setups and then leaving the rest of them. So long as they're good setups. So one thing I'm doing to review, um, one thing I'm working on is finding estimated maximum risk reward kind of on each play. So you can see here, I calculate what's my entry, what's the risk, um, what's the reward by the time that one of the candles on the same time frame goes below the previous candle's low. So kind of calculating that just about to see, and the results are that there's definitely edge to taking these setups. Um, as you can see with the risk to reward values being high on most of the times. Obviously, you're going to have losers. So anything under one, I would consider to be a losing trade, just because I would probably lose on it, based on, execution commissions, everything really. One thing I'm noticing is that total volume is playing a huge factor into, how well stocks are moving. So I've tightened up my scanner's criteria a little bit to have higher volume requirements. But yeah, you kind of see, and this is in the description, all my resources, let me see, including all of these will be in the description. Um, so there's a lot of resources there that I've been working on, and they basically explain my strategy and stuff. in really quite great detail and give you resources to find your own strategy and your own edge. Um, so hopefully I can help speed up your learning curve a little bit. I'm not a profitable trader by any means, but I am getting better for sure. I'm definitely improving and I'm definitely focused on the process and not the profits, which I think is a good sign that I will eventually find success. So, yep, I've been going through these. You can see I've gone through quite a few already. Still working on it. I didn't really want to take these ones because they're all super light volume. Um, and I'll do this for every one that I add. But you can see there's a lot of slides in here, um, even that I haven't labeled yet. So this is a great resource. I really have enjoyed creating it and finding quite a few areas to improve, quite a few just realizations. So yeah, let's start with the trades I took. So 803, first trade of the week. Boom. I took this bull flag right here. I scaled out into, my first scale out was 66. So right below the high day, kind of is finding a little bit of resistance there on this 10-second. I really should have added on this 10-second micro pullback, but I held through that, scaled out into this spot. So that was a really nice trade. I executed well. I yeah, I executed well. I took a great trade. Um, I'm happy about it. It's definitely an A quality setup. Forgot to add the spread on it. Um, I did have incorrect sizing a little bit, just based on my sizing criteria, which I've changed a tad. So here's my sizing. We're going to kind of jump all over the place. Um, so I'll try to make this as orderly as possible, but bear with me, please. So this is my, risk parameters here. One thing that I am doing, at least for the time being, just because I found 4, 3, 2, 1 to be so difficult to actually, do in the moment, because I have my hotkeys based off of dollar risk. So if I press A, then I buy 2 shares. So with a 50-cent stop, that would be $1 of risk. S is 5 shares with the 20-cent stop. That would be $1 risk. D is 10 shares with the 10-cent stop. So that's how I have my hotkeys ordered. So if I wanted to get on an A plus quality setup, that would mean that I press my hotkey, 4 times like that. That just takes way too long. So I'm changing this a little bit for the time being to this. Relatively. So for B setups, I do 1 press. For A setups, I do 2 presses. It just makes it a little bit easier. But A plus setups, it should be like tighter spreads, tighter risk. So the risk to reward will still be there. So that's what I'm doing for now. I might eventually go back to that, but it was just a little bit too complicated. I think that caused me to hesitate a little bit. So yeah, this was a nice trade. It was a really nice trade. Not quite a high day, but it was definitely met my criteria. So then I had Amex. This was unfortunate. So this was the first part of the move. Pops up. I get in right here. On this candle for this first micro pullback, expecting it to squeeze up. Spread was high there. I kind of got cooked on the spread. I sold down here, which was definitely too soon. I should have waited for my stop at 4. But I was watching the chart, not level 2, which is a bad habit. So a little bit execution error, but still kind of just, you win some, you lose some, and there's nothing you can do. But at least your probabilities are in the winning side. So if we look at we're gonna find this because that was just the front side of the move. Looking for Amex. AMIX should be up here actually. No, it's on the 1 minute charts. 1 minute charts. Is it? Wasn't this one? Oh gosh, I'm gonna keep this here and go through on this instead. This will be maybe a little bit easier to find. Um, Gimmicks. Yep. So as you can see, I got in right there. Rallies up, pulls back. You get this 1 minute play. Then you get a super nice squeeze up there for the 1 minute bull flag pattern. Um, it was a choppy bull flag for sure, but it still worked and it worked really well. And then after you get that pop up, you could argue this is a pullback where, you could enter. You could definitely enter here. This would be an amazing micro pullback. This would be another micro pullback there. I'd consider those to be the first two micro pullbacks after the breakout. So, you get in here, you hold through this, but you add there, you add there, you scale out a little bit into the pops because you never know if it's just going to flush all the way back down. I like the habit of taking one trade and then just sitting on my hands for the rest of the day is a terrible habit that I need to get over. Um, really terrible. I should have been trading this for sure. That was such a nice move. That met my criteria. So definitely undercapitalized a lot there. That was the pattern this week, That really was the pattern. INLF, I had a micro pullback trade right here, I want to say. This was this was the losing trade, 709. Took this micro pullback right around here. As you could see there, flushed out on me, got out. Then my next trade on INLF right here was, I think I got this bull flag play, right? No, I got another micro pullback. So I'm sorry, one sec. 714, 712, 712, 50. I got in right here. So I missed this one, unfortunately. I really should have taken that. That was a good bull flag setup. I should have been taking this and scaling out, adding, scaling out, adding, scaling out, cutting it all. That would have been what met my criteria, and that would have been the right way to trade it. But I missed this one, took this micro pullback, got a decent little trade on that. But yeah. This one here, I didn't mean to add. So I meant to scale out here. This was another micro pullback. So 15, 15. So this was right in here. I took this micro pullback also. So I got in, and then accidentally added here and then sold. So that was INLF. That was the fifth. And then all these were hotkey errors. And then no trades yesterday, of course. So that was basically my trades. Right. Yeah. Really quite unfortunate. Um, yeah, if I didn't have this hotkey error here and didn't take these, it would have been like a 4 cent crane day. But it turned into a bigger crane day, luckily, very luckily, because I got in here. This was so funny. Um, As you can see, this is a 33-second hold time. I got in and got out at a random time in the day. Um, Wait, no, I'm sorry. It was this one. This one, 12 seconds. Got in, got out, random time of the day for a, 17-cent gain. So that's pretty lucky. CLRO, this was was this another hotkey error? This was on the 6th. I don't think that was a hotkey error, actually. I think I have that mislabeled. Yeah, no, I have that completely mislabeled. Um, Let me find that CLRO. So it would have been recent CLRO. It would have been this here. Let me just add it. It's right here. Okay, so we'll kind of go through how I review this. 02, 702, 702 right here. I got in for this micro pullback right here. Took this micro pullback here. This is like very similar to INLF, right? As far as my execution, honestly, I'd argue this is even worse execution. So I got in for this micro pullback. Great trade. I mean, that's a beautiful trade. I missed this one, unfortunately. That would have been a nice micro pullback as well. Um, I just sat down. This was 7 a.m. I just sat down. I was still tired. Not making excuses though. Definitely missed that. So I got in here, you know, sold into the pop. And then once it started coming back down, missed that bull flag right there. This would have been a nice bull flag pattern right here. And I should have been taking this, scaling out, adding, scaling out, adding, scaling out, cutting the rest of it, or even adding here, cutting the rest of it. I typically like to only take these two micro pullbacks, but sometimes you get more, And I could have even taken this one here. This was another 1-minute play. It was a little bit wonky. It's kind of an ABCD pattern. A little bit difficult of a setup to trade because if you get in here, it squeezes up, you go back to slightly red, back to break even, slightly red, and then you get the pop up. So it's a little bit difficult to know whether to like stop out at break even or keep your stops low. A lot of that is intuition. I probably would have scaled. I probably would have sold right here and then like bought back up here, but I didn't trade it. But if I had followed my rules, I definitely could have capitalized on this one as well. So there were opportunities. I missed them. To some extent, this would be a B quality setup. This did not have news. It's above VWAP. Was it near the 9 EMA? It was near the 9 EMA. I did follow my criteria. It was at high day. It was this would have been the second micro pullback. Second pullback. The spreads were tight on this. I remember that. Execution was a 3 because I, I didn't get back in afterwards. So there wasn't really an error on this specific one. Uh, but yeah, maybe I'll add an error. Took this trade and then just sat on my hands for the rest of the day for absolutely no reason. That should be an error that I add. So yeah. Anyways, that's going to be my weekly review, just about. So I basically just copied my document for my monthly review here. I'm just gonna kind of fill this out on the other screen just so it's a little easier. So let's go back to my calendar. B and C quality days. My accuracy was 50%. My, let's see, average win bigger than my average loss. Average per share gain was almost double my average per share loss. So that means I'm trading at almost a 2-to-1 risk to reward, which that's really good. You know, I want to be roughly at 50% accuracy with a 2-to-1 risk to reward, or about 60 to 70% accuracy with a 1.5 to 2 risk to reward. That would be ideal metrics um, for me. Those are very difficult metrics to get to. That comes to a lot of consistency and, really, really high quality execution on pretty much every trade you take. It's very close to what Ross um, does, is those metrics. But he's trading with huge size, so he's at, to some extent, somewhat of a disadvantage, but you could also argue he has other advantages. But anyways, um, pretty nice there. Average. Let's go this week. Let's sort by this, refresh. Let's go to summary. Okay, win rate, profit factor 1.63. Expectancy was positive. That's great. Small drawdown there. 8 total trades, 4 wins. Super small commissions. What I really want to see is my average hold time. I think that's down under behavior. Yeah. Boom. Look at that. So we don't have it in seconds, unfortunately, but that's okay. But this is great to see. I want my average winners hold time to be bigger than my average losers. Means I'm holding my winners and cutting my losers quick. So that's a great metric. Very good. Very, very good. Um, yeah. So I stuck to the rules of my strategy. I didn't, well, I stuck to them for the most part. I did not take a lot of the trades that I should have. I don't think I really took any bad trades. But I didn't intentionally take any bad trades, but I definitely didn't stick to taking those good trades. Um, the only changes I've made this week was tightening up my filters a bit. Really just working on the slides, reviewing. I didn't make any fundamental changes to my strategy. Um, just tried to make my setup a little more smooth. I definitely have improved on my goal of hesitation, but I still struggle with um I still struggle after I take one trade to continue trading on a nice stock. Um so you could say that's also hesitation. I'm still struggling with hesitation. Um the market was pretty hot this week. I definitely learned that what I learned this week. I learned that I need to, tighten up my scanners a little bit, which I did. And I've learned that daily total volume from backtesting over, I think I backtested 10 days. So not a crazy huge sample size, but I've seen that total daily volume affects how the stock moves a bit more than relative daily volume. But whenever you get a stock with super high relative daily volume, um, that makes it um, a lot better, especially whenever it's breaking news. A lot of those are a little bit more likely to go parabolic, I think. But daily volume total, from what I've seen, affects how a stock moves a bit more. um, than relative. My biggest goal for next week is to take a lot more trades, not to lower my quality standard, but to take a lot more trades because I missed a lot of opportunities. From my recollection, I missed 2 trades on Friday. I missed 5 trades on Thursday. I missed, I want to say it was about 4 trades this day. I missed another 4 or 5 trades on Tuesday, and I missed like another 5 trades. So I've missed like 5 trades a day, which is crazy. That's really bad. Um, so my biggest goal for next week is to not miss that many. So thank you guys so much for watching. You can check out the description for a lot of great resources, discounts, ChartsWatcher, um, all that good stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching and reviewing with me. I hope you found some benefit from this content. I'm not a profitable trader yet, but I do strongly believe that I will get there one day because I have the work ethic for it. So trading is risky and it's extraordinarily difficult. To manage your risk and always practice in a simulator before putting real money on the line. I will see you guys next week. Hopefully to have another green week, but to take more trades, to execute, and to get over this hesitation and the scarcity mindset I've been going through. So I will see you with that. God bless. Bye for now.